Hi friends, Grace here. I'd like to share some ideas about remedies for detox and healing symptoms as you're traveling on your detox journey with TRS. As you may know, many people have no symptoms whatsoever as they are detoxifying their bodies with advanced TRS by Quisiva. There has a million different reasons for this, and many of them have to do with what is in your body. This is why we cannot compare detox journeys. Everyone's is unique. So that being said, the viral load, the toxic load, the previous exposures, the current toxic exposures, the strength of your immune system, the presence of your organs. Some people have entire organs removed. All of these things contribute to how your body handles the healing process, because many of the symptoms that come up for us are not actually from detoxifying. TRS has no symptoms of its own because there's no redistribution and there's no taxing of the organs. The toxins are grasped by the molecule of zeolite and carried out of the body. So there's no processing going on by the organs themselves. This is part of what makes it super safe and efficient. So when we do have symptoms, it's a sign that our body is healing something. Sometimes if we have candida or parasites and we're going through a die-off, they kick off ammonias and different toxins in order to get you to stop whatever you're doing that's killing them. And so therefore, our body struggles with those toxins. Sometimes this is a good reason to increase our sprays instead of decrease our sprays. It helps absorb those toxins and carry them out. Of course, a good way to figure this out, whether to increase or decrease, would be muscle testing. So otherwise, I say trust your intuition and carry on. Soldier through, because those die-offs are worth it. One of the things you can do for that kind of situation is increase your vitamin C, as well as cut out any processed sugars and refined carbs. I think that many people would say to cut out fruit also, which is a great idea if you have that option. However, many of our children need that fruit in order to stay regular. If we have children that have sensory issues and that's one of their main fresh diet things they'll eat, I don't think it's a great idea to cut them out. Of course, you can shift them to some berries or things that are less high in sugar. Some of the more high sugar fruits would be tropical fruits. So if you switch to darker fruits that are berries and such, and sometimes they're a little more sour, but they will quench that desire for sweetness during those die-off processes. It's a good idea and will help starve the candida and parasites all the quicker for a quicker die-off. So that being said, the symptoms are not from TRS, it's not from detoxifying, it's your body healing. So some other things that we come across would be runny nose and cold symptoms. This is usually a sign that the lymph system is backed up. We create phlegm and cough it out in order to get rid of things. The body will create phlegm to be a vehicle. So same thing with the runny nose. Mucus can be a vehicle for the body to get bacteria out. The clear drip of the runny nose can sometimes be indicative of your cerebral spinal fluid cleansing, and that comes through the lymph system and then right out the nose. That's not to say that it is cerebral spinal fluid leaving your body. I'm saying it's the toxins leaving in the mucus. So not to worry about that. But again, increase your vitamin C. Make sure that you're using a lot of water, fresh, clean water in your diet all day long to stay hydrated and support that flushing. You can use a neti pot to rinse out your sinuses. You can even spray TRS right up your nose. And a lot of people find relief that way too, because it will help reduce inflammation. And histamines too, depending on what your runny nose and symptoms are from. The zeolites and TRS also will melt biofilms, and biofilms can hold bacteria and viruses, and they can coat anywhere in the body, from your sinuses into your ears, your urethra. Okay, that's what would be a symptom of recurring UTIs. Okay, again, you can use TRS just about anywhere on your body to see if it works for you, even though it is most efficient as an oral spray, which is the way it was designed to be used. Since I'm speaking of vitamin C, this is the kind that I use. I use liposomal vitamin C because it is in a form that can be absorbed directly into your bloodstream without going into the gut. One of the things about high dose vitamin C is that it will create a dump effect for your guts. So if you're not wanting that, if you're dealing with diarrhea or some other issue, liposomal is a great way to go, especially if you're trying to do high doses. And it also doesn't upset your stomach nearly as much as the more acidic forms. However, if you are suffering from constipation, then liposomal would not be your choice for vitamin C, because that extra high dose of vitamin C will create the dump that you want, that will help assist with your bowels moving, which is really important always in any detoxification situation. Get rid of the waste, get it out. So as far as constipation is concerned, another great choice would be a magnesium flake bath. Okay, a nice soak. You might want to work your way up and start with half a cup in a full bath, as warm as you can tolerate, and then work your way up to a full cup of flakes in that bath. You can enhance that with essential oils, but stay in there at least 20 minutes to allow your body to absorb those minerals, and that will help support your nervous system as well as calm you, and it does help with bowel regularity. Okay, another thing that will help with relaxation is skull cap. It comes in tea forms or tinctures. I recommend this. It's very gentle. My son likes to drink one before bed as part of his relaxation routine. So it is very good for everyone who is working with anxiety or sleeplessness or hyperactivity. If you're children don't drink tea yet, you can always use it as the fluid in a smoothie instead of adding water or juice or whatever you use to mash up with the liquid. Steep the tea and then you can blend it in that way. This type of tea is actually flavored with cinnamon, which is one of my son's favorites. So you can find different types that have pleasant tastes. Speaking of teas, peppermint tea is lovely for nauseous tummies, and it won't keep you up. There's no caffeine. Ginger is another remedy, whether you have it in a tea, a tincture, or ginger candies, or ginger root, and can scrape some right onto your salad. Excellent for digestion and settles the tummy. Unless your ginger ale has real ginger in it, Schweppes is not going to cut it unless it has the real ginger in it. Okay. Something else you can use if you are feeling anxious or maybe your child is having tantrums. I like essential oils, and EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, is otherwise known as tapping. You can find many great videos on this on YouTube, and I find that it is incredibly effective no matter what your issues are, and it's not invasive, And it's something you can do together, and it's something you can teach your child to do on their own as a self-healing technique, when they can do it at school if they need it. And I just find that it is highly, highly effective. Tantrums are, that magnesium soak again is a great choice, and grounding. Fresh air, sunshine, and get your feet on the ground. No shoes. It doesn't matter if it's warm, cold, muddy, or whatever. That connection to the earth helps polarize your body, and your body belongs to the earth. So a lot of times we get really worked up in our heads, and our energy comes up into the upper chakras. It becomes affected by EMFs and Wi-Fi signals that surround us, especially if we live in cities. It's very hard to escape those magnetic fields. So by reconnecting with nature, your body can realign itself, ground itself. Your energy comes down into your body, into the lower chakras again. And another way you can do that also is to invite it with the breath. Belly breathing will help ground you, calm you, and still your mind. In through the nose, out through the nose, nice and slow, into the belly. And if you watch children, this is how they all start out life breathing. Breathing in the upper chest is a anxiety creating pattern. So if you notice that you're a shallow breather, take some time to invite the breath deeper into your belly. So, if you are dealing with headaches, that is also really helpful. Bring the energy down into your body. High dose vitamin C, and of course hydration. These are really, really helpful for headaches, and grounding too. Deep breaths of fresh air, sunshine, just slow it down is really, really important. It sounds so simple, but it is one of the essential supports we all need every day, and most of us don't have the time or make the time. So we need to shift priorities as we are on this healing journey to give ourselves what we need. Continuing on, one of the other things that happens for some people is their skin starts to itch, or they have chapped lips. Much of this is related to candida, but it can be other issues too. So dry brushing helps move the lymph. The other ideas that I told you about earlier, as far as watching what you're eating in your diet and trying not to indulge in processed carbs and processed sugars, will help this also. Make sure you're drinking enough water, of course, as well as sometimes we have skin eruptions, eczema flares. Some of us find that the eczema goes away completely, but some people have waves of flares depending on what's going on in their body and what they are exposed to. And one of the things that I like to use for my child is raw shea butter. I actually use this also for my lips when I need it, because it is not wet, but it is moisturizing enough to keep the skin supple so that it doesn't crack. And I have the unscented version, but you can use what you like. And this is always a temporary thing, because skin is an organ also. It's often called the second kidney or the second liver, but it is a detox pathway. So when we see eruptions in the skin, that means that the liver and the kidneys could use some support. So one of the things that I personally use is dandelion tea, and I also like NAC, which is a precursor to glutathione, which is glutathione is the chief detoxifying agent in the body. And what NAC does is it promotes the body to create more of its own. Some people will use glutathione caps to help get them out of a jam, but for me, I would suggest not using it as a daily supplement, because it's important that your body remembers how to make it on its own. So yeah, it's really important to realize there's a difference between a daily support, something your body needs every day, versus something that your body can use a helping hand to make a transition. So your body is not the same every day. You eat different things every day. You sleep different amounts. You have different amounts of stress, different amounts of fresh air. All of these factors change what's going on inside your body. So I always suggest staying present with that and not thinking that there's a cut and dried answer. I'm going to take X amount every day for the next X amount of days. I say stay present. This is, again, why I'm in love with muscle testing, because you can always check in the now what is going on with your body. So that being said, those are some of my favorite remedies and supports. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask them in the comments. Until then, peace. Blessings on your detox journey. Thanks for joining me.